Deflector is one of those games that immediately grabs your attention. Neon sci-fi visuals, bullet hell chaos, and a mechanic you don't see often in roguelites. You don't just dodge projectiles, you send them back. And I'll be honest, the first time you deflect an entire wall of bullets and walk out untouched, that feels incredible. But here's the real question. Is that feeling enough to justify a $20 price tag in a genre packed with heavy hitters? Let's take a deeper look. Deflector is a top-down action roguelike set inside a microscopic sci-fi laboratory environment. You control a bioengineered specimen created by an AI called Deflector. Your mission: eliminate a virus known as the Source that is corrupting the system. The entire game is themed around this microorganism concept. Classes are called bioshells, power-ups are mutations, difficult modifiers are virus strains, and permanent upgrades are purchased with DNA. You begin each run in a hub. From there you choose your starting biome and your initial ability. There are 4 main areas to clear, and then the end fight. Each with a midpoint great virus boss and a final apex virus boss. Combat rooms are structured in a node-based path system. Nodes offer shops, healing, mutations to your skills, evolutions to your attacks, risk-reward encounters of course, and as you clear areas, corruption spreads, increasing the difficulty in the remaining zones. Structurally, it's very classic roguelike design, but the identity of the game is something else entirely. Let's talk about what makes this game stand out. Deflector is fast, very fast. You dash, you attack, you deflect. It's not easy, but it's satisfying. Enemies fire 2 types of projectiles. Red, meaning they can be deflected, and yellow, they cannot be deflected. That distinction alone creates tension. You can't just spam parry everything. You must constantly read the screen, and when it clicks, it feels amazing. There's a very empowering feeling when you're faced with a massive wall of bullets, something that looks impossible, and you thread through it or send it right back. That's the emotional peak of Deflector. Each bioshell changes how that feels. Eradicator throws a boomerang that interacts with directional deflects. Slasher uses a sword and gains rage for empowered deflections. There are 6 classes total. However, only 4 feel truly distinct. 3 of them share similar Ranger-style flow with small gimmick differences. Diversity exists, but it's not extreme. Still, mechanically, the deflect system works. It's fluid, it has a high skill ceiling, and that's the strongest part of this game. Now we get to where things get more complicated. During a run, you collect stat upgrades, mutations, so new skills to use, evolutions to your active skills, and you can even change your active skill. Mutations trigger on condition like deflect, on primary attack, on kill. They scale with 3 different attributes: attack, deflect, and health. On paper that sounds like build variety. In practice, it's much thinner than expected. Here are the problems. Mutators often don't synergize well. Some triggers don't work consistently with modified attacks. Certain mutations override others in unintuitive ways. Mutator kills sometimes don't count toward objectives, and many early mutators are just flat damage boosts. You rarely build a concept around your class, or your bioshell as it is called here. You mostly stack incremental power. There are no deep synergy engines forming like in games built around mutation stacking or crazy build crafting like Potato. Most runs feel like I'm stronger now, not I've created something unique. And that's a major difference. Let's talk about meta progression. After each run, you earn DNA. DNA unlocks permanent upgrades, healing improvements, economy tweaks, active enhancement as well, with limited tier-based bonuses. More mutations through research levels or new node types. It's serviceable, but it's mostly marginal boosts. There's grind here as well, especially for achievements. 100% completions can take up to 50 hours, but the actual meaningful variety is more like 10 to 15 hours, speaking from experience here. And the longest achievements aren't skill challenges in my opinion, they're more grind. Complete 5 runs per character, max proficiency, unlock everything. That's roughly 30 plus runs. At 40 to 60 minutes per run, that's a serious time investment for limited build diversity while doing it. Don't get me wrong, the runs are fun, but if you do the same run 10 times, maybe it's not as fun anymore. Visually, the game looks great. Each biome has a distinct neon palette. The aesthetic is strong. The soundtrack supports the chaos well, though it's not particularly memorable, but there are usability issues. Visual clutter becomes overwhelming, which is quite common for this genre to be honest. Friendly and enemy effects share similar colors, that's not very good. Projectiles overlap heavily in the late game, and the camera shifts aggressively when aiming, which is also not ideal for a type of game like that. Hitboxes sometimes feel misleading. In a game about reading projectiles, that is somewhat concerning. Sometimes standing still feels safer than reacting dynamically, and that clashes with the fantasy the game is trying so hard to create. Now we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Deflector costs $20. Is it unreasonable? Not automatically, but context matters. When you compare it to other roguelites in the same price range, let's look at Hades 2, which costs $25 to $30. The content gap becomes obvious. There are worlds between the content amount in those two games. In Deflector you have 4 main zones plus, let's say 1, 2, 3, something like that, depending on what you count as zones. Same room layouts repeatedly, no meaningful procedural variation, and 6 bioshells, so the classes with partial overlap. Limited synergy depth, and after 2 to 3 runs you see most of the rooms. After 10 to 15 hours you've experienced the core loop completely. The game does not evolve dramatically, and that's the core issue. Combat is strong, but combat alone isn't enough to sustain long-term replayability in the genre. If you love perfect mechanical execution, deflect timing, dash discipline, you enjoy it. But if you're looking for deep build crafting, massive variety, long-term progression arcs, this just feels thin. For $20, expectations in my opinion are higher, and that's where Deflector struggles most. So who is this game actually for? You will love Deflector if you enjoy pure mechanical challenge, you like bullet hell precision, you want tight combat with high skill expression, and you don't mind repeating similar content with a similar build. But you should probably skip it if you prioritize replayability and depth. You want strong build synergies, you dislike grind-based achievements, and or you expect large-scale content for this price. Deflector absolutely nails its core idea. Deflecting bullets is satisfying. It's fluid, it's intense, it creates incredible moments. But outside of that, the systems don't layer deeply enough in my opinion. The content pool is limited. The replayability feels stretched. This is a good game, but at $20 for most players it's a hard recommendation unless you specifically want that deflection focused combat loop. If it drops in price, much easier sell. If you enjoy thoughtful roguelikes breakdowns focused on depth and system replayability, that's exactly what this channel is about. And the next review goes even deeper into that side of the genre. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.